Good morning. How is everybody on this bright and fine, beautiful Monday morning? So I was thinking about something. My lovely bride and I went out to the Sagebrush Cantina last night to see my bandmate Kurt play in another band that he's in. He's one of those musicians that I refer to as a natural musician. Oh, wait, hang on. Well, that sucks. It might crack me up. So anyway, he is a natural musician and he's been playing since he was a little kid. He can listen to stuff and just pick it up almost immediately and just play it. I've known a ton of musicians like that. That is not me. I am self-taught and I did not pick up a guitar until I was excuse me, about 30. Yeah, about 30 years old. And I really think that it makes a difference because when you're a kid, just like learning a language, it's just so much easier. Music is a language. And I think when you learn how to play guitar when you're a kid, it just comes a lot more naturally. I have to work. When we had a gig coming up, I would spend hours and hours and hours and hours working to get my parts just perfect. And that's not to take away from those natural musicians. They work hard too. But I just can't hear stuff and make it happen. So, for example, in the middle of a song, if the singer decides to go off on a little vamp and do something, that was very terrifying for me because that kind of moved away from the song that I practiced. So yesterday, well, we were watching Kurt. Great to see him. It was fantastic. He is just such a natural musician, and a lot of the songs they played, they just vamped on and kind of went off on tangents and stuff like that. That's what makes music fun. Today's music, they really don't do that. I was just thinking about that. I'd really like to get back to playing, but I'm not so sure that I want to invest the time that I'm currently putting into all my plants and trees and everything in the backyard. I'm not so sure I want to put it back into playing music. The payoff is wonderful when you're up on stage and you've got, people screaming and yelling and dancing and laughing and having a great time and screaming for more. That's pretty cool. It's the greatest feeling in the world. But, and I know why people do it, because it is a drug. But, I'm just not so sure that I want to do it anymore. I did last night. I thought to myself, God, I would really love to get up on stage with the guys, but I'm so rusty now, I don't think that I would be able to pull it off. I don't know, it's hard to tell. Anyway, that's my initial thought for this morning. Oh, I forgot to show you who I'm repping today. That's right, Bill fucking Murray. An absolute legend. I found a mulberry tree still producing some mulberries, so I got myself a little bit of breakfast. I'm not sure what's going on. As I go for my walk through the neighborhood and as I drive through and stuff like that, there are so many homes for sale. And I don't understand why. I just looked it up and the inventory stands at 909 properties for sale in Woodland Hills alone. That is a lot. I remember when it was a little over 200 properties for sale and they were saying, oh yeah, it's a buyer's market and things are getting better. There's over 900 properties for sale. I don't know. I mean, where are people going? We all know the California thing. It's expensive to live here for sure, and it is a crystal blue state for sure. But I just can't believe that many people would move specifically for those reasons, especially, maybe they would. I mean, I mean, I could sell my house and move to bumfuck Texas and live in a mansion and be able to afford it, but who wants to move to Texas, right? Sorry for the people who live in Texas. But, you know, I did say bumfuck Texas. So there is that. And to further clarify, so that I don't piss anyone off, I have been to Texas. As a matter of fact, last October, I drove all the way through Texas diagonally from the far southeast corner to the far northwest corner and saw a good swath of the state. And I got off of the interstate and I was on 2-lane highways, and it is absolutely beautiful if that's what you're looking for. So there is that. And one of the areas that I really liked was Fredericksburg. Beautiful around there. Rolling hills, beautiful oak forests. But would I want to live there? I don't know. You know, California's got a lot going for it. First off, there's no bugs and no humidity. And so my lovely bride would never come with me if I moved to Texas. It's just that simple. Oh well. Oops. I took a wrong turn. The road that I was on doesn't go through. I was going an opposite direction from what I've gone previously. And I was just looking at all the houses and all the greenery and everything. And I thought, wow, I've never seen this neighborhood from this angle before. Because I haven't. And I missed my street. And it's way up here. Oh no. Oh well, I'll end up with a couple extra blocks on my walk. Maybe a grand total of 1/8 of a mile. But, you know, when I go for my walks, I don't really know where I'm going to go. Sometimes I have an inkling, but I always want to go someplace that I've never been, or at least in an opposite direction. And that's what I'm kind of doing today. So I just missed my turn. Oopsie daisy. Well, once again, hopefully I didn't bite off more than I can chew. I'm at 2.88 miles and I'm pretty much at the halfway point. Luckily it's a little downhill and then flat for a ways. You know, it's amazing how much your mind can play tricks on you. You know, if you start thinking about how tired you are and you know, how much it hurts and things like that, guess what? You get tired and it hurts. That's kind of why I like doing these videos, because it takes my mind off of it, gives me something to do, and that way I can get some serious miles underneath my feet. Which I looked at my shoes, by the way. My shoes are getting pretty worn out. I don't think I've ever done that in such a short time before. Sorry, there's a bit of traffic on this street, but I just thought of something. So I mentioned that we went out to Sagebrush yesterday afternoon to see my buddy Kurt and the band that he was playing in. So my lovely bride, she got up and went to the restroom. She came back and she said that on the way back, this guy stopped her and said, "Wow, you're really beautiful." And he looks down and he says, "Oh, I see by the rock on your finger that you're married. Are you happily married?" And of course, my lovely bride said yes. Why wouldn't she? Look at this. I mean, and then he had the gall to ask her, "Are you in love?" Can you fucking believe that? And according to what my lovely bride said, which I 100% believe her, because what is marriage about? It's all about trust, right? She told the guy, "Of course, I've been married for 32 years and am more in love now than ever." And he went away. My lovely bride is awesome. I wish she would come on walks with me. That would be so much fun. Well, I'm coming up the big hill on my way back towards home. Oh, look at it. Nice bougainvillea. Whoa, sorry. Got a close-up of my face. Ew, yuck. So I just passed this guy, and I've seen him before, and he walks his dog and his kids to school. Such a grumpy asshole. I always nod and say good morning, and he just has this scowl on his face. Jeez, what a waste of a human. You know, I just don't get it. How's that, you know, how are his kids gonna grow up seeing dad all grumpy all the time? You know, I think back to when I was a kid growing up. I don't think of my dad as being grumpy. Sure, he had his moments, we all do. But I remember him being tired because he would get up early, go to work, and you know, he just always seemed tired. And on the weekends, he'd never rest. He was always doing something, remodeling or building a house, or, you know, he was one of those guys that constantly did stuff. I did not get that gene. My daughter did, and I love that about her. She is not afraid to tear apart a bathroom and redo it all by herself. There is no freaking way I would do that. I did not get that gene, but I did help my dad with a lot of stuff. Basically, he and I ended up building the vacation cabin, which eventually ended up being his retirement home. It was pretty much he and I built it. You know, I was 12, 13, 14 years old, and I was holding stuff and hammering nails and measuring and cutting, and measure twice, cut once. And, you know, I was there for it. None of it stuck. Just none of it. And I think it goes back to me trying to do some stuff and failing early on. And I didn't have the tenacity to stick it out and work through the failures. I think if I started everything now, I would be a little bit better about it. But now I'd just rather hire somebody who has the skills, and it's so much faster. So, you know, kind of like me with the gardening, you know, I'm making a lot of failures, but hopefully I'm learning. And that's what we want in the end, right? Got to go through all the failures in order to learn. Whew, this hill is a grind. But I thought I might have overdid it today. I think I'm going to be okay. I just want to say that Simon and Garfunkel's The Sound of Silence is a master class in vocal harmonies. Beautiful song. Well, I'm almost home. Just made it up the final hill. Let's see, we're 3.94 miles. So I guess when I thought it was halfway, it was a little bit more than halfway. So the walk back home wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So everybody have a great day, okay? Be good humans. Smile at somebody and say hi, and just be good, please.